let me tell you a story how I built a money-making application using AI tools where it is possible as much as I could. I would like to say that 80% of my app was done by AI. Okay, I have almost 20 years experience in programming, so I know what I was doing, but the impact how AI tools helps in nowadays programming is huge. What I did first, I asked ChatGPT a few questions. I explained to ChatGPT what are my strongest knowledge in programming field. I gave input to ChatGPT that I am good in iOS developing and my preferred backend language is PHP, and that I have played with Stable Diffusion for image creation. And finally, from ChatGPT, I got 30 potential ideas for mobile application. So I have chosen first one. I chose Virtual Try-On app. It is an app that allows users to virtually try on different clothes. In order to make it more interesting for my region, I modified this application a little bit and I choose to create an app that allows users to wear Latvian folk costume. Actually, Latvian girls in this traditional folk costume look so amazing, beautiful. It was necessary to build a powerful PC in order to work with Stable Diffusion. I assembled a computer from used parts. This computer has i9 processor and water cooling and good GPU RTX 3090 with 24GB of video RAM and 80GB of RAM. Using Stable Diffusion image generation tool, I generated some concept designs. These concept designs gave me ideas what elements to use in design and ideas about coloring. After that, I collected a lot of pictures with Latvian folk costume and trained the models. So I was able to use folk costume in my image generated by Stable Diffusion, and using Photoshop stable.art plugin, I was able to finish my design. Okay, let's dive into coding. Here almost 80% of code was generated by GitHub Copilot. I developed iOS application using native Xcode development environment, but by default Xcode doesn't support GitHub Copilot and there is no plugin for Xcode as well. But it is not a big issue to write code using Microsoft Visual Studio Code and compile binary in Xcode. Visual Studio Code perfectly do syntax highlighting and has Copilot functionality as well. I believe the most challenging aspect was crafting prompts that transform user images into genius work of art. The phase consumed a significant portion of my development time, often requiring late-night sessions. In fact, it provided to be nearly as demanding as the programming itself. Naturally, the creation of these prompts demands the full development of one's imagination. I warmly invite you to explore my applications and provide your valuable feedback. You can find these applications on the Apple Store under the names superselfies.app and latviatis.app. Your input is greatly appreciated.